YouTube land, what's up? It's your girl Makara here from Cougar's Closet. How y'all feeling out there tonight? So, I have a very stimulating topic and conversation that I want to throw on you guys tonight. So, if you haven't read my title, y'all, my title is called American Indian or African American. Leopard and wildcats or deers and impalas. Yeah, you know. Y'all I done turned that? Okay, there we go. Y'all work with me. Y'all work with me. I'm working on it. Take money. I ain't got that, so I'm trying to bring y'all a little something. Don't say nothing. We in the wildcats area. I'm gonna get somebody to come over here and fix this and turn it back around because I like this the other way. But we gonna work on this. We gonna work on this. But my title tonight is called American Indian or African American. So y'all, today I wanted to speak about this discussion because on Facebook this thing is really hitting big, and you know, I just wanted to bring the awareness to those that are into culture and in this y'all know I can't talk ethnicity in y'all know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, I wanted to bring the awareness into these things, and I happen to be very much into these things, and I wanted to shed some light on it, and better yet, just make you aware of it. I happen to be very much into it. Now, before I get started with this topic here, y'all, I'm trying to get this thing right. Before I get started with this topic here, let me say this. I do not specialize in this field. This is not my expertise. This is not my spiritual gift at all. So, but it was something that I knew that I better throw out here if people are lovers of culture and ethnicity. There you go. If you in love with these things, then this topic right here is for you. Now, there are a lot of conversations, like I said, that sparking the internet with men and women of color stepping forward. And what they are saying, y'all, and I do believe them. And if you believe your mother and your grandmother, then you believe them. They are stating that African Americans are not African Americans. They are American Indians. They are the true Indians in America. Y'all give me a second. Okay, and so they are saying that what all you have been hearing, what all you have been fed in school is a lie. And so they are stating that we are not African Americans. They are stating that we were not brought here on slave boats and ships, and they are saying that we were already here. So y'all, I am going to be turning you guys on to two public figures that I have ran across in my Facebook, and I am so glad that I have ran across these two ladies. Now, one of them I can say that I ran across from my brother Anthony Helm because he does a lot of research. And y'all, one day I'm going to get my brother Anthony Helm here at Cougar's Closet because he's a force to be reckoned with. So I'm going to get him here one day. I'm going to have to call him and see when I can get him here. He's a busy man and he has a busy schedule and he's always, all these different places, when you're important. So let me get started and say this about these two public figures. One of the ladies, she speaks about how we became labeled. And she says that you can thank Jesse Jackson for us becoming labeled as African Americans. She said that Jesse Jackson passed a law in the 80s and labeled us as African Americans. And she can be found on Facebook. She's a public speaker. Her name is Anissa Holbert. That's Anissa Holbert, Holbert. And y'all, let me tell y'all about this lady. I love her because she's from Tennessee. She's from Nashville. And so she speaks and has the accents of my cousins. And I hope I get the pleasure to meet her one day. But she talks just like my cousins. And I love her accent. And Anissa Holbert, she studies genealogy. So if you are a lover of these subjects, of this subject matter, go check her out. She is with All the Smoke on Facebook. She talks about how throughout the years, our birth certificates are death certificates. And she talks about how our birth certificates through the centuries and years have changed. And they have changed from Indian to mulatto to colored to Negro, and where we are now to African American. And she's been educating for 6 years of what I understand. And she states that this tactic that Jesse Jackson pulled has been used so we could be swindled out of our land, and how we couldn't inherit reparations for our land. And she's deep. So whenever you guys get a chance, get onto Anissa Holbert's page, and I'm gonna tell you, don't get on there with no fly stuff, because sis is with the smoke. She with it. And so back to what I was saying, she studies genealogy, and she's with the smoke on that too. And she has even done her own genealogy, and she found out exactly where she came from. She found out exactly what Indian tribe she came out of. And she also has an ID that she got of her own about her being Indian, because she talks about how they have no contradiction or no jurisdiction over you when you have your real ID. A lot of things change because people don't own you when you know who you are. She goes on to talk about Ancestry.com, which I figured this too. She goes on to talk about how Ancestry.com is a ripoff, and it's a scam, and it's a sham. And I am with her on that, because this is my thing. I've been on Ancestry.com and I've played around with it. But my thing is, they never connect you to who you really need to be connected to. They send you all the way to these countries or whatever. And that's fine too, that they send me back to these countries. But they don't never give me a contact number where I can reach these people in this country. Now, I know I watched Oprah Winfrey in a show that she did. She was able to contact her people, from where she come from. But see, money changes the game. Money changes a lot of things. And so we don't have any money, so we just dealing with what's going on right now. Yeah. So I'm confused about how they can send you all the way back to these countries, and nobody from back there has plugged in, and you can't get a chance to talk to these people and connect with these people. They just tell you about where your people travel from. So I've always thought that Ancestry.com was kind of sketchy. I am with her on that. And so, if you are trying to find these things out for yourself, let me say this: Ancestry.com is not the way to go, and I personally know that because I've been on there, and I have looked at some things that wasn't right to me. Now, let me say this, y'all. Ever since I was a kid, and let me say this again before I even say this, I do not know about this topic. I do not specialize in this topic. This is not my spiritual gift. But let me say this, y'all. Ever since I have been in the world, my mom and grandma has always told me that I was an Indian, and they have always told me that I came out of the Cherokee tribe. They have always told me that all of my life. Now, as bad as I would like to get in this thing, step to this thing, open this thing up for you and break this thing apart, I can't, because this is not my field. That's why I am referring you to the ladies who field it really does belong to. But I will say this: my grandma and my mother has always told me where I came from, y'all. And when they spoke about where I came from, there was never no talk about no African man around. Now, we're getting into phase 2 of this thing. Y'all ready? So now the second lady that I'm going to speak with you about can also be found on Facebook, and she is a public speaker as well. And she goes by the name of Rebel, but she pronounces it Rebel. Now, this woman is tough too, y'all. She's dangerous. So let me say this: don't get on her Facebook trying to check her, because she ain't the one. You come for her, she gonna be bringing some slow singing and flower bringing. She's not the one either, y'all. Now, a little background on what I have observed about Rebel. Her and Anissa Halbert, they are pretty much on the same level, but they had different type of gifts that separates them. And so Rebel, she deals more with dates and time, and she deals more with going back and correcting what your school system has fed you in and out and throughout your time. This woman, y'all, Rebel, she can pop dates off the top of her head. She can pop dates like it's nobody's business. She will get a date and she will get the clear understanding, and she will let you know if God was standing there talking to Moses. She'll let you know this. This is her gift. This is what she specializes in. She's a natural woman, ain't no half stepping with neither one of these women, y'all. They bringing the smoke and they bringing it to your doorstep. So let me tell you a little bit about Rebel. So she got a hold to this Harriet Tubman story. And she got her dates together along with whatever ingredients that she needed to put in her pan, right? And so she let the pan cook, She let it saturate or saute or soak with green peppers and onions, the dates, you know, whatever she needed. And so when the timer went off and this pan was ready, y'all, when she pulled her pan out the oven, she said it wasn't right, y'all. She said the main entree wasn't right, y'all. She said it wasn't right. And so let me say this also about Rebel. I don't know if it was her or either her friend, because she has a guy friend and he's with the smoke too. I forgot his name, but he's with the smoke as well. And I don't know if it was her or him, but one of them got a hold to this Alex Haley story, and they was preparing dessert one night, the dessert and the apples and the cinnamon and the nutmeg and the bananas or whatever they had, whatever they goulash they was making for dessert. The crust. And they said they put the dessert in the oven. Either Rebel or a friend put the dessert in the oven. And said when the timer went off and they pulled the dessert out the oven, said it wasn't right, y'all. Said it wasn't right. Now let me say this. Like I said, y'all, and I'm gonna keep saying this. I really don't know much about this area right here, but maybe Alex Haley, because he does have money, so maybe he researched his genes back and that took him back where he was really kin to these people. And maybe this story was his story and this really what happened to him. This was his story. This wasn't all of our stories. So are y'all into this type of thing here? Are you into culture or genealogy and wanting to know exactly who you belong to and where you come from, because I really am, and the problem with me is I just haven't had the time to sit down and figure out where I need to go. Like I said, I tried this Ancestry.com, and that's not the way. And both of these ladies, they have information about where you need to go, but they so deep and their pages are so deep. I'm going to have to research, and I am friends with Rebel on Facebook, but this Anissa Harbert. This woman's so booked up. It's hard to get for her to get you into her Facebook request. It's really hard. And both of these ladies also have YouTube pages as well, and they really get gangster on them, And Rebel, she actually goes to these meetings and meet and do classes and studies with where she came from, and the Indians walk her along, different places, and Anissa Harbert, she's a part of the Indian community. She found her people that she belongs to, and they on there getting it on, y'all. They on there getting it on. So like I said, I don't want to lie to anybody, because if I got on here acting like I know about this department, at this point I'd be practicing on y'all and I'd be selling y'all some lies, and I'm all on here. Rah, rah, rah. I don't want y'all to believe me if I can't believe me. I don't want to lead y'all into a burning house, So I'm gonna stay in my lane. I just wanted to bring awareness that this is what's going on. Now, let me say this. I had did some research back on this years ago, and there was a Jewish president or somebody, and he was black. He looked just like me, and he looked just like you, and he had skin like me, and he had skin like you. And he was talking about that he didn't want the new Jews back in his land because when they left, they were black with woolly hair, and when they came back, they were different. And let me also say this. I remember being a kid, and y'all know I'm always somewhere around wisdom. Hello, anybody knows me, I'm somewhere soaking it up. So when I was about maybe 9 or 10 or 11, I remember being around older men, maybe about 5 or 6 of them, kicking it, having a conversation. And I remember these men talking, and one stood out to me because he talked about how the pale man or the white man was a European man. He talked about how the red man was the Indian man. He talked about how the green man was the Italian man. And he talked about how the black man was the African man, you know. So it's strange to me when I go back to apply this knowledge that you see a lot of black folks walking around here with these red undertones, just like me, red undertones. You see a lot of this, and there are Indians that are and were black as this shirt I have on with hair flowing all the way down, just like the regular Indians. And let me say this to a lot of people. When they go to look at Indians, they don't see what they need to see because they're looking at Indians from a European standpoint, because there are European Indians as well. So when you're looking at it from a European standpoint, first thing you're checking for is hair. You're checking for the little hair that comes all the way down. You're checking for the lighter skin, that's closer, y'all. But the real black Indians that were about the color of my shirt here, they had the hair. But if you want to swing it back, coming back on a black perspective, that's not what you need to be checking for. You can tell a black Indian that has the shirt, that's the color of my shirt, by the skin, by their cheekbones. Their cheekbones sit up real high. And the eyes, like, there's different aspects that we should be looking at. Either are you either are looking at the world and people through their eyes, or you looking at the world and people through our eyes. So I had just wanted to bring that to the attention. Indian man, a lot of times have a oval face, oval chin, or sometimes it can come down a little bit more protruding. A lot of times Indians are heavy in the cheekbone, in the face. They have those type of structures where instead of us looking at these beautiful features, we better be looking at the face, and we better be looking at the bone structure, because that's really where it is, y'all. So I don't know. Don't let me take up your time. And y'all know when I say don't let me take up your time, I'm really in love and I'm really googly-eyed by y'all, and I really don't want to go. But I really don't have much to talk about. One day, y'all, I am going to go live, so I can have a conversation with all my cougar and mountain lions. But I'm still shy right now as far as that goes. But once I get enough subscribers and stuff, and get comfortable with the idea of going live, then we're gonna break up into this thing. And it's crazy because, I look at a lot of people as they start aging here, that's the so-called African Americans, right? And I look at their gray hairs. And, I know, like, if I see somebody with gray hair and it has a yellow tone to it, I know it's because they've been smoking a lot of cigarettes. But a lot of these so-called African Americans that I'm looking at with this gray hair, it is sparkling white. It is the brightest white of the whites. I know for a fact the Indian man, when his hair turns white, it is platinum white. It's all different type of shades of white. But mighty funny that the African American white hair sure do look like the Indian hair. And I'm going to say this, y'all, and I'm going to close out. My mother, and this was the first time I ever seen my mother in this form here, because my mother always colored her hair. Well, when we were at my mother's funeral and she was in her casket, she had the real white sparkling hair by the roots. And she was laid down and she had the keen nose and she had the brown skin tone with the red. And she had the brown skin with the red tones busting through the brown. This was the first time I observed this from my mother, y'all, and I am 43 years old. At the end of the service, now I'm looking at the white hair at the roots, sparkling white, platinum white. I'm looking at the nose, I'm looking at the bone structure, I'm looking at the brown skin, and I'm looking at the red cutting through the brown skin. I had went up to say my farewells and to say goodbye to my mother. Me and my mother needed some personal time. And so I bent over to kiss my mother and talk to my mother and whisper some sentimental things in my mother's ear. Y'all, for the first time in my life in 43 years, I realized I was talking to an Indian. So if you liked my video, please like, please share, and please subscribe. Cougar's Closet. Mwah.